Hey guys, and welcome to another Google AutoFill, brought to you live in mainland China, the country that didn't bring you General Tao's chicken, wontons, or fortune cookies. Because that's not real Chinese food. But for those of you who have been living in a cave since 1985, or have time traveled here from 1985, fun fact, we actually do have Nike Power Laces and hoverboards now. And Google AutoFill is where you type something into Google and it pre-fills whatever it anticipates your deviant search may be. Today we're going to be searching for how do Chinese fill in the blank. We're going to go from A to Z. A couple of ground rules. I am going to put a screenshot up so you know I didn't cheat. I'll choose something at random. And of course, no politics because I'm not into that. So let's get started. Okay. How do Chinese answer the phone? They say, wait, just hello. How do Chinese birthdays work? Well, in the West, in the Western world, when a kid is born, they're considered 0. But in China, when they're born, they are considered 1. And of course, you got to keep in mind the difference between the Gregorian calendar, that's ours, and the Chinese lunar calendar. So basically, your average Chinese person may end up having 2 birthdays, which of course is weird, and figuring out when their birthday is every year, if you don't ask them, may require a lot of guesswork, 2 English hunting dogs, and a Ouija board. So how do Chinese communicate in Chinese? How do Chinese dress? Well, I kind of touched on this in my last video. Basically, if it's been in style within the last 100 years, it's in style. And they'll wear anything. How do Chinese eat rice? Well, I mean, we're going to use chopsticks, of course. How do Chinese finger traps work? Well, unless you're talking about a Kevin Smith movie, which has another implication I'm not going on this video. Basically, it's these little pieces of rice woven paper. You put your fingers in, and when you pull back, they contract. And your fingers get kind of stuck together. Now, funny thing, I've never actually seen those here in China. I suspect it's one of those things that's of Western origin that kind of got painted into it's Chinese, kind of like General Tao's chicken or egg rolls? I don't know. How do Chinese greet each other? Well, I mean, you can say hello, ni hao. Another really common way to greet people is, have you eaten? Ni chi fan le ma? How do Chinese use chopsticks? Well, you're going to hold one in your hand, just like you're writing something, and stick the other in there. And you kind of maneuver your thumb back in, so you can move them back and forth. You can use them right-handed or left-handed, but there are no right or left-handed chopsticks. How do Chinese immigrate to America? Airplane. How do Chinese jump rope? Same way you and I jump rope. You grab both sides, you kind of do a little jumpy rope thing. I should probably be doing some more of that. How do Chinese kill dogs for food? Really? Okay, first of all, it's really not becoming as popular to eat dog in China anymore, part of the rest of the world for that matter, but when they do kill dog for food, there's a couple of ways to do it. One of the more popular ways is to starve a dog for about 3 days. And that dog is hungry, hungry, hungry. And they'll give it a big bowl of steaming rice. That dog will eat it down, won't even chew it. And they'll kill the dog immediately afterwards and have rice stuffed dog. It's pretty nasty. How do Chinese lanterns work? Well, yeah, basically just like a hot air balloon. They take some wax paper, oil it up, and make a balloon shape. Put a little bamboo insert flame, and it goes up in the air, which may or may not be a fire hazard considering you just sent an oily piece of paper up with flame, which may or may not set a small village on fire when it comes down. How do Chinese multiply? When a mommy Chinese and a daddy Chinese love each other very much, they hug real tight and they multiply. How do Chinese names work? Well, pretty much like ours, except their family name or their last name is first. So their last name, like Wong, won't be Joseph Wong, it'll be Wong Joseph or Wong Tin Yang or something like that. How do Chinese Olympic lifters train? Well, basically they train until they can't walk anymore. But what they do is they basically stretch out their anterior deltoid muscles to the point where they're putting a lot of the more weight on their back instead of their arms because they can lift more that way. They kind of do this and lift. How do Chinese poop? Really? Okay, this is one of those subjects. Adults, pretty much like everybody else, you go in the bathroom. Now, interestingly enough, it's becoming a little bit of a problem with Chinese tourists, and even everywhere in China now, is the kids. And that's the adults kind of encourage the kids to go wherever they want to go. Kids will wear these little split pants with, everything's kind of exposed. And when they gotta go, they go, no matter where they're at. And so it's not uncommon to see kids gathering in like a subway or in a building, and the parents just kind of scoop them up and kind of shake them, and they'll make little sounds, sounds, and try to encourage them just to poop right there. On the subways, the metro trains, even outside in the streets, in the gutters and whatever. They'll just go wherever, whenever, and it's becoming a little bit of a problem. Trash cans, I see this a lot in public places. You see mothers will take their kids that are 2, 3 years old, even up to 10 years old. It's kind of scary, and have them poop right in a trash can in public. No shame. And it's kind of disgusting, but hey, it's a cultural thing. Just roll with it. How do Chinese quit Facebook? Well, they don't. They don't have Facebook in China. It's blocked. Fun fact, they're saying it might come back next year. Good old Mark Zuckerberg has been talking to the Chinese powers that be in flawless Mandarin, of course, and may have convinced them to allow Facebook back in mainland China. I guess we'll see, right? How do Chinese read? Same way you and I do. They take words and they digest them. How do Chinese students study? Pretty much the same way ours do. Very lacklusterly and when they're forced to. Kids are the same in any part of the world. They want to play on their phones, they want to daydream, sleep in class, chase after pretty girls, and eat junk food. It's no different anywhere in the world. How do Chinese type? Now that's interesting. There's actually 2 types of typing on a keyboard. There is your phonic reading, which basically is where they type the homophone for what the Chinese word sounds like in pinyin or using English letters, and it gives the appropriate Chinese character on screen, and they can accept that. Or if they have a touch screen like a phone or a tablet, they can actually physically draw it in. How do Chinese use the toilet? Really? Same way we do. I mean, there's 2 types of Chinese toilets. There's the Eastern toilet, otherwise known as the squatty potty, and there's a Western toilet. Fun fact, sometimes the Western toilet confuses people and they stand on top of it and perch. Yeah, I've had to clean those before, it's not fun. How do Chinese view Americans? They like us for the most part. How do Chinese write? Well, I kind of touched on this earlier. There's no alphabet. Chinese is all character driven. It's what they call logosyllabic. Yeah, basically, they write ideas as character. Now, I touched on this earlier also. Chinese used to be written right to left, and it's mostly written left to right now, so it was why you find some old books where the back is the front, and the front is the back. How do Chinese x-rays work? Same way as any other x-ray. how do Chinese yuan and US dollars? I'll put the exchange rate up, and basically it's a conversion rate. It's like 15 cents to the dollar or something like that. How do Chinese zodiac work? Now that's a good question. The Chinese zodiac, or basically the Chinese astrology, revolves around the 12 classic Chinese animals. Basically governs who you are, what you can do, when you can do it, how you can order your eggs in the morning. And it's slightly more complicated than Woody Allen's Facebook status. So, there you have it. You want more? Google it. Well, I appreciate you guys watching. Like anything else, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay frosty. Now these are either the coolest or the crassest lamps I think I've ever seen. I mean, look, I love the switch. Yeah. Oh wait, there's another one too. Yeah. You would make a lovely gift. Maybe.